Hi Capricorn, it's Jenny here, ready with your March Tarot Horoscope. So we're just going to be pulling a single card for the month of March to see what's going to be coming up for you. So the first 2/3 of March is the end of Pisces season, which is the last sign in the zodiac. So it's the end of the energetic year. And then we're going to have March equinox, and then that's going to be the commencement of Aries season, which is the first sign of the zodiac. So it's starting a new energetic year. So this whole month is going to have these kinds of feelings of endings of cycles and beginnings of new ones, kind of like New Year's vibe, but instead of the calendar year, it's the energetic year. So that's what's going to be coming up for you in March. Just going to see what card wants to come out. Hopefully I'm not going to throw it all over the floor. That one feels good. Okay, Capricorn, this is what we've got. We've got the Knight of Wands for you. So here we have the card. So we have this white charger, this horse here, and this little man this on the horse, and he's carrying this really large lance of a wand standing above this kind of blue toad or frog. And then all the way around we have this purple flame that's coming up there. Okay, so that's the card. We're going to see what the Knight of Wands has to say for us today. Okay. Knight of Wands. Your life's purpose. Since the horse and its rider are relatively small and rather sketchily drawn, one might assume that this card is not that important. But this is far from being the case. Violet red lines surround the figure like an enormous flame. In relationship to the horseman, the wand is more than life-size. A blue toad adorned with stars or diamonds squats beneath the horse. All these symbols have one common denominator: become who you are. For this is the card of your life's mission. When we start out on our journey, we are small, just like the horse and rider, more an outline than a finished picture. The details have to be augmented and colored in. Our aim in life and our potential is self-realization and the full development of our personality. The violet red lines delineate this huge task. The violet red lines delineate this huge task. The gigantic wand hints at strong drives and a sustainable energy supply. Our life's tasks are the greatest and the best that we will ever encounter. They require and focus all our strength. Their completion lasts a lifetime. Often on this journey, high ideals and toad-like instincts have to be overcome. If you possess a lot of fire, you are not only very courageous, but often also extremely tired, retiring, or irritable. Once burned, twice shy. The blue ornate toad functions as a point of reference in two ways. The knight appears to flee from it, and yet the creature also exerts an attractive force. Practical advice: you possess an incredible amount of energy. Bring light into the darkness. Help those who are weaker than yourself. Commit yourself to meaningful projects that will benefit many people. Where the darkness is greatest, your light is most needed. It is here that you will discover your life's purpose, a mission so great that it will take a whole lifetime to accomplish. Start your journey now. Okay, this card is great, especially for this particular time. Like I said, it's the ending of one energetic year and the beginning of another one, and this is all about starting your journey and starting your life mission. So this is a really great time to be sort of bringing in the culmination of the past year, all of our different experiences that we kind of followed through the story, bringing up, you know, whether we brought up some old traumas, we worked through those, we looked at our belief systems and we examined them in the lights of our experiences. We built a new vision and we wanted to start manifesting it and see how it fits in the collective. And now in Pisces season, we are sort of like tying all of everything that we learned in the year, and we're looking forward into a dream state of what is possible, and what's possible starts with the visioning of the impossible. So Pisces, like I said, the beginning of March is Pisces season, and Pisces is all, one of the themes of it is the dreamland, is the fantasy realm, is thinking beyond what is practical, what is tangible, and what is very clearly real, and imagining it's like the wishes of a genie. Like, if anything could happen, if anything was possible, what would I want? And that is the start of a dream. And then that dream can become manifested and built upon and say, okay, how do I get what I want? How do I start to make this something that's real? Or whether I just want to pin and use as a guiding light what is an impossible dream to pull me forward to accomplish things that I never really would have thought possible if I had just picked an easy, tangible dream. So Pisces is a great time to really be thinking about what it is that you want to bring in the world into a big way. Like, what is your purpose and your mission? It's all going to start with a dream, and what your purpose is very tied to who you are. So a lot of this is also this culmination of the year of everything you've learned about yourself, which may have changed, but very likely will be different than last March equinox when we started out this year. Things have happened since then. It's been quite a year. And so who you are shifts and changes and grows. For some people, it's very rapid, or the changes are quite measurable and noticeable. And for other people, it's significantly more by degree. So day to day, week to week, month to month, you might not notice much difference. But when you think where you were last year, like, yeah, no, actually, okay, there was slow change. Who I am is shaping and is forming in relation to the experiences that I have. And so your mission and what it is that you want to do and create and bring forward in the world is likewise going to adjust and change. So you may have already found in your life a passion and a mission that hasn't changed, and that's still your guiding principle of what you want to accomplish, but the mode in which you're going to achieve it or where you're at in that journey is going to shift and change. And for some people, your mission may have changed. Your whole vision may have been switched on its head from your experiences, and you might think, wow, the old things I wanted to accomplish, that was what was in alignment for the me that dreamed them up, but now I'm a different person, and now I've experienced different things, and my values have shifted, and I actually want to do something else or something additional. So this is very much tuned to what it is that you want, and it does require that grounding into your own inner source and your own inner vision, and kind of pulling kind of into your own candle flame here of what inspires you. Fire element is often inspiration and drive, and so what inspires you is going to be very tied to your dreams. And then you can put those dreams forward and do the hard, tangible work of manifesting them, and you won't run out of energy because it's tapped into what truly inspires you, like that real, honest flame in your soul that is always burning and is making you excited and helps energize and warm you even through the heaviest and darkest times. That's the source that you want to be tapped into, not the smaller flames of things that are flights of fancy or other people's dreams or other people's requests of your time. This card is really, the Knight of Wands here is this fire energy, the source of an inspiration that can be very, very moving and forcing, like driving you forward on this mission. And then that energy does need to be managed. So a flame, of course, needs to have fuel. And especially the bigger the flame, the more fuel it requires. So the bigger the mission, the bigger the dream, and the more excited you are about it. Often that, even though you're so excited and driven, then there's the paradox that you often need to move slower because you're going to be consuming more fuel. You need to be a bit more strategic. You can't just run right at it with the power of motivation without also being resourced for it. So really making sure that you are grounded as well as inspired and motivated. So, and that with you and your Capricorn energy is quite practical and grounded. So this is a really great card for you in particular to utilize in a really a sustainable way, whereas other people can just kind of like flash and burn really fast and then kind of collapse from exhaustion. If you really like bring together your powers of goal setting and manifestation and hard work, if it's attached to this burning flame, then that's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So we'll just lean back into the astrology again. So this beginning of March up until equinox is this time for visioning and recap, sort of like looking back and getting inspired from the year and seeing how far you've come. Maybe also taking a well-earned rest. Capricorn, you might not always be the best at resting and downtime. If some of you might just kind of like to go from the next thing to the next task. But if you have completed, this is also a great time to see and tally what you have completed. It's the end of this energetic year. And so it's great to take stock of what's already been done, or what's so close to being done that it can just be wrapped up, or what no longer whatever is in alignment with what inspires you. And so you either want to finish it up and get it off your plate, or just let it go altogether, so that frees up your time and energy, and enjoy this period of rest. Once we hit equinox and we get into Aries season, that fire is going to be kindled up again, and so there's going to be more emphasis to be in motion, and so it's going to be a lot harder to take a rest then. So if you haven't taken a rest now, then that is like taking away the fuel from your fire, and it's going to be harder for it to burn strong and longer. So Pisces season really does encourage rest. It does encourage this float sort of feeling, and allowing yourself to be kind of buoyed up in the currents of, so Pisces is a water sign, and it's ruled by Neptune. So it's this oceanic, like this full ocean of emotion, and this sort of often this kind of cosmic dream energy where there's a lot of inspiration in things that are, for some people, it's kind of the mystic and the spiritual. For others, it might be just the community and emotional base that is this sort of this ocean to kind of rest on. And it's not very structured. Pisces isn't like structured, linear, rigid. So Pisces energy is kind of can feel in contrast to some of your Capricorn, maybe more Saturnian, disciplined vibes. So it might kind of feel like, I don't want to rest. This feels confusing. Like I want to get back into the clear state of things. But this is this invitation of like, well, just put your feet up for a bit, like enjoy the waters, enjoy the bath, like even having baths or float houses, or if you're in a place where the water's not freezing at this time of year, just like being in water and feeling what flow is. That flow it's not chaos. There are still currents and patterns of dynamics that follow predictable patterns in water, but it isn't rigid and linear. So it's a different kind of invitation to allow things to kind of clear out and have some rest, in order for you to then, once we hit March equinox and Aries season, and that like drive and impetus to get in action again happens, you'll be like, yeah, ready and set. And the clutter from the last year will be, can be gone and dealt with, and you've rested enough to be able to kind of get back at it in full force, whatever full force looks like to you, whether that's a very strong push or whether that's just back to methodical kind of work. It's going to look different for all of you, because it's tied to your essence. It's tied to who you are, and then who you are is going to fuel your mission, and what that looks like. And your mission and your commitment to the world, and even here saying bringing light into the darkness, committing yourself to meaningful projects where the darkness is greatest, your light is most needed. That doesn't have to be, that can be in a big outward facing work in the collective and community kind of way. There's always no shortage of darkness out in the world that can use a helping hand, but it can be internal and introspective as well. You always remember that you are part of the world. You are part of the community and the collective. And so your needs are no less important than others. And so if your current mission is a lot of self-work, or your current mission doesn't necessarily look like altruistic, or a lot of the ways in which we think of helping people has to look like selfless, as in self-sacrificial, like it has to be like, I'm taking on all this weight so that other people can relax. It doesn't have to look like that. This can be a time of supporting for yourself and building into yourself. If your sense of mission is more tied to your own self-being, that's also perfectly fine. It's going to be whatever is authentic to you. And so it's also important to remember not to be too swayed by other people's viewpoints. That this is a time, certainly when we get into Aries season as well, that Aries season, Aries is the very first sign, and it's like this infant, it's this new birth, it's this new creative energy, and it's so authentic because it's so fresh. There are no, the Aries sort of energy is, it is selfish in the way that an infant or a child is wholly concerned with their own experience, and is not, being this altruistic baby trying to help other people out. They are still just very, very focused on their own experience and figuring themselves out, and that is absolutely perfect and beautiful for that stage of life. We want to at some point graduate out of that as we become self-actualized and comfortable in our essence, and then we can look up into the world and help others as well. But it is good in our cycle, in our adult cycles, that we come every year to this Aries season, and it's a chance again to feed into your own essence, and to have a healthy time of self focus, and being self invested, that is positive when it is not done to other people's detriment. Being like selfish is only a bad thing if it's coming at the cost of other people, but being self-invested is a critical stage of our development, both as infants and then as adults. It's part of a healthy cycle to just tune in and say, what are my needs? What are my goals? Who even am I? I may have been distracted, or just pulled my attention out so much into the world, this is a time to come back in. So definitely, if you're feeling that pull inward, if that looks different and it looks like other people are a little confused that you're taking this time inward for yourself, that's just, own that those are your needs, and that it'll help you give into the collective in a stronger way at a better time. So I'm just going to leave it at that. This is kind of like a great kind of a noble mission card in a way. So that'll be interesting to see what comes up for you this March. Yeah, this is a very strong start to a new energetic year. So my best wishes to you, Capricorn. So that's it for this tarot horoscope. I am going to let you know that I am going to be starting out on my first Pay What You Can zodiac season forecast. So that's going to be starting on equinox. For the season of Aries, I'm going to be hosting a Pay What You Can tarot and astrology reading for the collective. So this isn't going to be specific to each sign. It's going to be relevant for everybody, and that's going to be hosted here on my YouTube channel. So be sure to come back at equinox to check that out. And other than that, best of luck for you in March, Capricorn.